Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Uncomfortably Comfy, a place where we discuss areas in life that feel familiar yet unsettling and explore how to embrace the discomfort for personal growth. I'm Jennifer French, your host, and today we're going to explore what it means to be uncomfortably comfy and how the concept of flipping your lid, as explained by Dr. Dan Siegel, relates to this idea. In the previous video, we discussed how we all, at some point or another, have experienced places where we feel stuck in habits, relationships, parenting, mindsets, all of the areas that no longer serve us. Yet we stay in them because they are familiar, and we may not have any good templates or tools on how to navigate it any differently. That's the essence of being uncomfortably comfy. This is the idea that extends beyond just behavior. It's deeply rooted in the templates that we've been provided by our upbringing, our environment, our relationships, our peers, as well as cultural norms. These templates may have been beneficial in the past, but as we evolve, as we have new relationships, as we become parents, they can kind of become restrictive. Moving beyond them requires embracing discomfort, something our brains often resist, which leads me to bringing up the research by Dr. Dan Siegel. Let's begin by discussing the concept of flipping the lid. If you're unfamiliar with this concept, it is a brain model developed by Dr. Dan Siegel. It's a visual and metaphorical way to understand how we react to stress, perceive safety in our relationship or environment, or even overwhelming emotions. Essentially, this is our brain. This is going to be our prefrontal cortex. It is the part of our brain that's responsible for organizing and rationalizing. It's responsible for attunement, sympathy, and empathy. It's responsible for being regulated with our emotion within our worlds around us without losing this part of our brain. However, when we encounter a trigger or a familiar place, our rational brain, the prefrontal cortex, may go offline, causing us to react emotionally or flipping our lid. It's like flipping the lid of a pot. Everything inside bubbles over, driven by the more primal reactive parts of the brain, the limbic system. We lose attunement, our ability to be present, because in fact, we are in survival mode at this point. What this looks like is when our prefrontal cortex is offline and we're working out of this part of the brain, it's our fight, flight, and freeze. That means if we see a bear for survival, we're either going to fight it, we're going to run away, or we're going to freeze. But the thing is that we're learning through science is this also has a memory in attachment and being in relationship. So if we grew up in a house full of anger and uncertainty, those are all triggers for us to flip our lid. And we learn to either engage in the fight, withdraw from the fight, withdraw from our emotions, or freeze and not really know how to respond in the situation. Later in life, that could look like, hey, I'm in a conflict with my spouse, and instead of you get into the more vulnerable sides of me, I'm going to fight back and I am going to put the finger on you, and we're going to go round and round. It could also mean, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'm withdrawing, and my spouse is pursuing even more because they're seeing me withdraw, but this is scary, and I don't know what else to do. Regardless, we are working out of our primal brain. We are trying to fight, flight, or freeze. To take it a step further, how this also shows up in relationship or with our kids, if we are flipped and our kid or our spouse is flipped, we are now fighting each other, withdrawing each other, or freezing in the discomfort of the flipped brain. Nothing good ever comes from this place. So, as we continue through, we are going to continue to learn skills on how to close that so we can be with our authentic selves, be within our relationships, have attunement, and be able to lean in to these uncomfortable places. Another example of all this could be in a good way, we idolized our parents. We learned values from them and we learned how to navigate parenting because of how they brought up. But then our kiddo comes around, and let's say they have challenges we've never seen before. And those challenges get another part of our brain that gets us to flip our lid when we see these challenges coming. And we don't know how to navigate that because we never had the tools or the templates to navigate it, which causes more and more gaps between you and your child because you don't know how to navigate this place of the unknown. Explosive anger, emotional shutdown, or disassociation can be reactions to these challenges as well. Change is so difficult without the right tools or even a new method to replace the old one. Change is difficult without knowing where to go and let's even just name what this change can bring. Sometimes it might bring our biggest fears, and that alone can be scary and daunting. It can cause vulnerability with maybe what our flip lid told us is vulnerability is not safe, so we do not go there. It's been a survival mechanism in the past, but may not be helpful or suit your current situation. So, how does flipping the lid relate to being uncomfortably comfy? Actually, both concepts address how we handle stress, fear, and change. When you're stuck in an uncomfortably comfy space, you're navigating old emotional patterns and templates that can cause you to flip your lid when in a familiar place. For instance, if you're trying to break free from a habit, let's say like drinking when we're stressed, anxious, or have big feelings, or we're having communication challenges in your relationship that does not align with your true self or needs, that is developing these habits or communication styles. So you respond by yelling or withdrawing, you might experience stress and flipping your lid. The moment of discomfort presents an opportunity for growth, though. No matter what is in that area for you, the goal is to lean in, get curious. By recognizing these emotional overwhelms, you can identify triggers, warning signs, update outdated templates, and create a life that feels more authentic. The importance here is self-awareness. Flipping the lid highlights underlying emotional triggers and patterns, while being uncomfortably comfy suggests that we need to lean in, get curious, and maybe look in a mirror or look at the patterns that we find ourselves in. And no, it's normal to feel uneasy in the process. Heck, it may feel alien and foreign because we don't know or have never experienced this place before. So let's discuss strategies for managing uncomfortably comfy spaces and the emotional associations with flipping the lid. One, self-awareness. Let's get curious. Let's get curious of those places that we find the most discomfort. Being able to stop and slow down, take a breath, regain your thoughts, close that flipped lid and be able to ground, to be able to be with, to understand. That's going to start with practicing some mindfulness. There could be techniques like Dr. Dan Siegel's Wheel of Awareness can help ground and calm you. My favorite one with all types of clients, all ages, is the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding method. Focus on 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. It's effective. Tune into your body, pay attention to those sensations, help regain control when we're feeling overwhelmed. Slow down and seek support. Some of these things that bring up the flipping of the lid may be so deeply rooted, we have to navigate them, or it has layers and layers. Contacting a therapist or somebody that you can really trust with this is another way to go. These strategies just are not for calming down. They encourage embracing the discomfort, acknowledging vulnerability, and recognizing the growth that often involves some chaos. Understand the interplay between flipping the lid and being uncomfortably comfy reminds us that life isn't about avoiding discomfort. It's about using it as a catalyst for transformation by leaning in and getting curious. We will continue to explore other tools, more information, or how to continue to update our outdated templates and aligning your life with your authentic self. But until then, remember, discomfort can lead to growth. You just gotta lean in. See you next time.